All right. Hello, everyone. Happy weekend, everybody. Welcome. Glad you guys are joining me here today. Welcome, everybody who's joining me. My name is Jeremy. I am with Made Management. And again, we're on another weekend session, live session with a special guest. And I'm excited to be with you guys. I was supposed to do a live on Tuesday. Those of you who follow me and know that I have a live, I apologize. Tuesday, I was on death's door. I was sick. I got food poisoning and came down with it like early Tuesday morning. Woke up in the middle of the night and was just miserable. So I apologize for missing that live session with everyone. I did miss everybody, but I'm doing much better now. I'm a few pounds lighter, if you guys can't tell. I've lost a few pounds from food poisoning. So the benefit of food poisoning is you lose a little weight. So, but yeah, I've recovered, 100% recovery as of today. I can say that. So glad to be here. Glad you guys are joining. As you guys are joining, as a reminder, put in the chat where you're from. Love to hear where you guys are from. I'm currently no longer in Montana. I am in Phoenix, Arizona. So it is hot here. I'm here for just a couple of days. I got in last night and I think somebody turned the furnace on and forgot to turn it off because it is incredibly hot. I think it's like 110 today, triple digits. So somebody's joining from Arizona. Welcome. We're neighbors right now. I don't know where you're at in Arizona, but I'm sitting in Phoenix. So we got Australia in the house. Well, good morning. Good morning, Australia. Happy Sunday. We got Canada, Nashville. Good to see everyone. Also, Virginia. Nice. Originally from New York, though. New York. I love it. Welcome, everyone. Matthew Fox from Vancouver, Canada. That's one place I've never been. I heard it's beautiful. I definitely want to go there someday. Thanks for joining, Matthew. Now, I have a guest that's going to join us today, and we're going to chat. We're going to pick his brain. We're going to take some, get down to your notepads out. We're going to learn some few things here. And oh, Australia in the house. Harry from Australia. Welcome, Harry. Newcastle, Australia. Where's that at? I've been to all over Australia, but I don't think I've ever been to Newcastle. Are you, what's the next big city that you're near, Harry? Just curious. Put that in the chat for me. As we're talking to the guests today, feel free to shout out questions as we're going along, as we're talking and learning. We'd love to hear your questions. We're going to get to as many questions as possible. So, well, welcome everyone. Glad to be here. Let's go ahead and bring my special guest on. Let's see if he's here. I think I saw him there. There he is.
He's
Hey, Michael, how are you doing?
everybody. How's the team?
We're great. Thank you for asking. Yeah, Michael, last time I saw you, I think in person was in August of last year, I believe.
Yes, Puerto Rico, right?
Oh yeah, that's right, in Puerto Rico. So that must have been after August. It must have been like
August, September, something along.
September. Okay. Yeah,
Good
that's
to
right.
see you again.
Good to see you as well. So Michael, if you don't mind introducing yourself to
Yeah,
everyone that's joining us today so they know who you are and what you
no
do.
problem. My name is Michael Huaschild. I'm a talent director with Manikin Agency out of Atlanta. We are a full service, non-exclusive, primarily deal in TV, film, commercial, but we're across the board. I myself have over 20 years in the business as a performer, as a scout, as a managing director, and as a instructor for a performance conservatory here in New York, to which I am based. I see over 5,000 talent a year, primarily on the East Coast, and I myself is in New York. I can't see everybody else. I think you said somebody was from New York or something along those lines. So
Yeah, it says yeah,
it's hot here too, by the way. Maybe not as hot there, but
nice. So New York is warming up over there.
it sure is.
I haven't been to New York in a few months, so I'm anxious to get back. But yeah, Deborah says she's in Virginia, but she's originally from New York. That's who said they're from New York. But yeah, well, good. So you're sitting in New York right now, and you are joining me. So it's evening time there for you in New York. Thank you for joining us so late in the evening. We appreciate
Yeah, no, it's a city it doesn't sleep, so we're
it.
we're ready.
Nice. Now let's get into, I want to get into a little bit of your background. You said you've been in the industry for about 20 years. You're currently working with Manikin Agency, but how did you get started? Like, what was how did you start in the industry? Were you uh, an aspiring actor, or tell me a little bit of your story.
Yeah, I first worked as a working performer, primarily in film, television, commercial work. I've done work for Coca-Cola, Nike, Snickers, ABC, NBC, CBS, Netflix, Fox. Um, and when I started to kind of transition more into the teaching side, that kind of led me to some opportunities to which I met the owners of Manikin Agency, Rich and Amy, and we built a relationship. I was working as a talent director for Barbizon at that time, and then when they asked me to help find the next great talent, I couldn't have been more happy. So, and I've been doing that ever since.
Nice. So you've been so you started off as a performer, as an actor. Are you currently still auditioning and involved in acting at all?
If time permits, but you know, too much to do, too little time.
Got it. Now, Mannequin, you're working with right now, you said they're based in Atlanta?
We are based in Atlanta, but we've got talent from all over the place. We cater to markets, international markets. We've got markets in Europe and South Africa and South America, and we're just starting a new market in Australia. So we've got talent based all over the place. Just because we're in Atlanta, you don't have to be. And that's one of the great things about the business now is that almost all of it is done virtually. So we can send out auditions, and you can audition from wherever you are for an audition, no matter where it is we need you to. So.
Nice. So you guys represent talent all over the world, and then do you represent all types of talent, like all ages? What's your age range?
We don't technically have an age range. I
Okay.
think our youngest talent right now is 6 months, and our oldest talent doesn't want me to tell you how old they are. So,
Got
uh,
it. We'll
but
keep that disclosed. We won't reveal those things.
you know, if you want to be a successful agency, a management company, you have to have a wide, diverse base of talent. So we look for talent of all ages, all sizes, all types. So there's really no limit. As long as the jobs are there, we need you. So
Nice. So, and then worldwide, obviously, you guys work with everybody, anybody around the world. Or are there certain markets that you don't get into? Like, uh, would you be opposed to certain markets, or are you guys open to pretty much anywhere around the world?
I don't think no is ever an answer that I would like to say, but you know, it's one of those building relationships, and we're trying to build more and more relationships. Um, we don't um, we don't find ourselves working a lot in the South Asian markets, but who knows what the future holds.
Right. And then you guys said that you're starting to do more work in the Australian market right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw some people were shouting out Australia here, so they're joining us on a
Oh, nice.
Sunday morning. So we got a few Australians
Yeah,
in
I
the
don't
house.
even want to know what time it is there.
It's
Either
probably like, I would imagine it's probably like 10 a.m. there. I'm sure it's not too early. So, but they're enjoying their Sunday. They're like time warped. You know, they're like
right.
they
It's
know
still
what Sunday is going to be like before
going.
we do.
Awesome.
I love it. So, have you been to Australia?
A few times, and every time it gets better and better. So,
Nice. Yeah, I just came in. I was working.
Jeremy, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I've lost you. So I'm gonna hang tight and see if this reconnects.
Up in Montana, and then I took a little side trip to over here, but I lost my internet. Okay, the Phoenix Wi-Fi can't handle the heat, apparently. There you are. We're back, and we're back.
What did I miss?
We just like to keep everybody on their toes. We
And
we
that's
like it
fair.
to keep, we like to keep it mysterious as people are watching. They're like, "Ooh,
That's true.
it's a magic."
So the last I heard, you were going to Montana, and then
Yeah, so I was in Montana doing some production up there, and I did a side trip to Wyoming because, of course, Montana borders, Yellowstone National Park. So I was in Yellowstone for a few days, and then I was down in Jackson, Wyoming, in the Tetons. That's where I was last, and now I'm in Phoenix. But I was gonna tell a story. I lost my train of thought. So.
that's. I think one of my favorite things about you, Jeremy, is that you've been everywhere and you go everywhere, and all you have the best stories.
Well, with work is where how I travel for the most part, right? So, I'm here in Phoenix for work, but as I'm working, I always also like to make sure I have fun. So, you always got to put that in somewhere, right?
Mhm.
Well, welcome back. I'm glad my viewers, you guys hopefully didn't enjoyed the commercial break. This these commercials were brought to you by no
Yellowstone National Park.
Yellowstone National Park. All right, it's good to see. All right, so we got people that are coming in asking us questions. I'm going to try to get to your questions here. So we got somebody from Bangladesh. Nice. That's one place I haven't been. Have you been to Bangladesh?
I have not.
Not been to Bangladesh. So you work right with actors, models. Do you work with other talent besides just actors and models?
Um, yes, definitely. Es- Especially when it comes to commercial work, we're not just looking for actors or models. We're looking for talent that fits whatever the criteria that they're asking. So we will do bookings for hosting and for social media presence, and so you name it, we've seen it all.
Okay, very good. And then do you guys, when you guys scout and find new talent, are there certain things that, like, what makes somebody stand out to you? So I might have a lot of aspiring people here who maybe aren't currently represented. They're looking for an agent or a manager. We may have, people who have been in the business for a long time. We might have, SAG uh, actors joining us here today, but for those people who are not yet represented, when you're looking for new talent, what are some of the things that really stick out in your mind when you see somebody new? Let's say you're trying to decide, who to choose. What's the process like? What goes through your mind?
Well, there's a specific answer to this, and there's a general answer to this. Just specifically, sometimes I am looking for something very specific because I know I have XYZ project that's coming up that we need to find somebody who fits the description, the talent, the skill set, whatever it is. So there are times where I'm out scouting for something very unique and very specific. And so I'm only looking for one particular thing. And then sometimes I'm just open and looking for as many new talent, new, fresh faces, new, fresh, unique skills. But I think the thing that kind of draws us is just someone who is unique in themselves. So if you have something that you think makes you different or makes you stand out, you should 100% just lean into that, accept that, and showcase that. So we want to find you. We want to find the real you. We don't want to find later that you are somebody different or something different. We want honesty up front and just be you and be the unique version, and that's really all we can ask for, or all we do ask for.
Nice. It's funny that you say honesty up front. I was actually in Virginia, working in Virginia, and I was at a showcase, and there was a gentleman who, when he came in, and I was working an entire weekend. So we were doing I was working one-on-one with performers, and then they had a showcase the next day. So I got the opportunity to work with everybody, get a chance to see them. Well, he had this British accent, right? And I was asking him, I was like, where are you from? And he told me this town, whatever town it was in England. And then he proceeded, to tell me, how long he'd been in the U.S. and that he had dual citizenship and dual, two passports and all this stuff. And then, of course, he showcased the next day. He was very talented, and he was probably, I would say, he was a younger kid, so he must have been about maybe 16 or 17 years old, and good-looking kid, tall, and just this really nice, great personality. And he ended up getting represented. I was working at the showcase and I was there with a couple other agencies. One of the other agents, a friend of mine, ended up giving him a call back and signing him. And he said that when he or attempting to sign him, uh, met with parents. Mom didn't have uh, any accent, any British accent, but she's from the U.S. He'd asked, and of course the kid had the British accent. So dad was, of course from England. Well, come to find out, he was just faking that the whole time. my friend my friend ended up telling me like a week later he realized that or something had happened and they did some research on getting his information, and I guess nothing was correct and he was just going with this British accent, and I think he thought that's what was going to make him stand out and make him different and unique, but
Well, remember I said sometimes I'm looking for something very specific, and if I needed somebody who had a genuine British accent and had that dual passport, dual citizenship, and could work right away, and I brought somebody on specifically for that reason, and now I find out that you can't. Now we've got some of those issues.
right.
To kind of piggyback on that, uh, we brought somebody in for a freelance agreement, a new talent that we met at a scouting event. We knew we were going to be submitting a lot of talent for an upcoming Western, so I needed someone who had experience on horseback riding, right? Could ride a horse, was comfortable. So we met a talent who said that they were 100% comfortable, that they've been doing it for years and years. We got the talent booked on on the job, and they showed up for set. Turns out had never been on a horse, immediately fell off, broke his arm, and
Oh my
we and they unfortunately had to recast, and we unfortunately had to terminate the agreement. But
God. Oh man.
um, it, it's not worth it. Be you. Just be proud to be you.
Right,
So
right,
we're most likely looking for who you are in the first place. So just be genuinely you.
right.
That's usually another thing.
Actually, it leads me to a good question because I know that on the resume, right? When actors are producing resumes, and those of you who are watching today, if you're an aspiring actor, start producing your actor's resume. It's going to be important for you to. It's going to take some time to create your actor's resume, so start now. Like, might as well just if you haven't done that yet, might as well some homework this week. Start sitting down and thinking about your actor's resume, and don't worry about your lack of experience, but your skills. That's going to be something that's important, that you list skills, because you never know these auditions what types of skills they're looking for. Like you said, the talent needed to be able to ride the horse. But I always, and people ask me all the time about the resume question, what should I put on my resume? And I tell them, if you're comfortable doing something, or if you've had some sort of training in an area, any skill, put that down. So whether it be cooking, right? If you've taken some cooking classes and you feel comfortable in the kitchen, put that down. Now, horseback riding, I've ridden a few horses. I've fallen off of a few horses.
No,
but I am not comfortable on a horse. I've done like the you can actually so I have a cousin who owns a company in Hollywood, and well, they're actually on the in the valley, but their base, his ranch is based on the bottom of the hill, the Hollywood Hills, on the backside of the Hollywood sign, and they have all their horses like for set for westerns, and you know that a lot of their horses are being used like I know that Hidalgo, I think it was. Remember that movie Hidalgo with all the
Mhm.
horses? Am I saying that right?
I think so.
That was yeah, that was years ago. But anyways, you know, they use like 100 of their horses, you know, for production. But during the week or whenever there's not a production happening, you can actually rent horses and ride up the Hollywood Hills, and you come out up on top below the Hollywood signs below you. It's a really cool experience. I recommend it to anybody who is in the LA area because you get to see all the whole LA Valley. You can see the ocean,
I
and of
think we just
course,
got our second commercial, right? All brought to you by the horse ranch. That's great.
but
That
but I've done that trek, you know, and I'm so uncomfortable. I tell them, you know, give me the oldest horse, the slowest horse you have, because you know him and I will be best friends by the time we're done. You know, that's the type of horseback riding I have. So I would never put horseback riding on my resume, only because I've done it a few times, but I don't feel comfortable, right? So those are the types of things on a on an actor's resume that you should put down are things that you feel comfortable doing, right? Skills that you know how to do. Um,
And his special skill is generally anything that can be related to casting, right? Your resume doesn't have to stay 100% the same each time.
right,
You know, if there's something that's important to be showcased, well, we'll showcase it on this submission, but maybe on the next submission it's not. And there's a lot of things that also could technically be something related to casting that you wouldn't even figure is a technical special skill. You talked about having that dual citizenship or just a passport. How many times we need talent to be able to be in Argentina this weekend for a commercial shoot, and if they don't have that valid passport at that moment, then I can't submit you for the job. So even just being able to travel or have a driver's license, any there just about anything can be a special skill if it relates to the specific cast.
right. And somebody in the chat put he's a reptile breeder, which I mean that's again, yeah, put that down. If you breed reptiles, put that down
Manikin.
because you never know when that skill's needed, right? What kind of reptiles do you breed? I'm when you say that, I'm assuming snakes, but it could be geckos. I don't know. Reptiles kind of cover a lot of things. I would be a little more specific on the type of reptile, you know.
Would this person in the chat be willing to work as a reptile wrangler on set?
Right. Well, that's the thing, right? So somebody who's a reptile breeder obviously is probably comfortable with reptiles, you know. So as as there's auditions, you know, for different things, they need people that are comfortable with reptiles. A lot of people are not.
That's what I
So
was gonna say. There's some people who won't do it at all. So
okay.
that's something that whoever it is in the chat, I can't see the
They,
chats.
they
Whoever it is in the chat, that's your unique you and lean into it. That's
they
awesome.
say they have 80 reptiles, boas and geckos too. Wow. That's amazing.
Space for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, where are you located? In Toronto? It's also a tattoo artist, hairdresser, photographer, drone designer. I don't know what a drone designer is. Or is that
They build their own drones, and I
uh,
bet I suppose they could fly them too. Those
yeah,
are awesome things to put on resumes as well.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, so some people think, oh, I don't have a lot of skills, but think about your hobbies, you know, the things that you enjoy, and even if you took, let's say, like 3 years of, you know, Taekwondo, you know, maybe it's been a few years since you've done that, you still possess the skills to hold a, you know, professional poses, or you know how to professionally look like you know Taekwondo. That's really what they're looking for. If they want a professional taekwondo, you know, athlete, they're gonna put that in the audition, right? They're gonna say we need somebody that's a professional. But if they don't need a professional, they just want to make sure that you have the ability
Yeah,
to
I love that you're bringing this up and we're talking about this because this is just something we love to tell to our new talents as we're helping them build their online profile for our casting sites. If you've got videotape of these, just home videos of you with the reptiles, or home videos of you in your taekwondo competition, or you jet skiing, or you doing whatever interesting thing that you can do, we love to have that because when it comes to those submissions, we go, okay, not only is this person here our talent, this is Jerry, but Jerry also loves reptiles. Here's his video. Here's what we can offer. So we love your unique talents, your unique skills. This goes more than just your performance talents, which I'm assuming everybody here is off the charts. We also love who you are in general and all of those skill sets. So if we do end up having a chance to work together, we're going to ask for your videos, your all the content,
right.
not just performance.
And so, homework assignment number 2 that Michael just brought up, if you don't have videos of you working with your reptiles or, doing taekwondo or whatever skill sets you guys have out there, start thinking about that. Maybe start planning some of those videos or thinking of some ways that you can show off, your skill set. And obviously, if you're a reptile breeder, we got distracted on this reptile breeder. That's a
Well, it's something you don't hear about every day.
right.
That's
But if you have the ability to, handle reptiles, obviously you'd want videos showcasing those reptiles. I will say this once. I was out driving once, and there was a snake in the middle of the road, and I'm not a snake fan, but there was this little snake, and I thought, you know what, this would be kind of fun. I want to see if I can, maybe catch him, and I had like this bag with me, an empty bag in my car, and so I caught him. And I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool, this wild snake I found." And I thought, I'm gonna take it home. I'm gonna buy a terrarium, and this was years ago. I'm gonna buy a little terrarium and raise him, and then I put him in this terrarium. I went to the pet store the next day, bought a little terrarium for him, a little light, and then the next day I came home and it was gone. It was missing. And,
landmark to this day.
I ended up finding him, like, 5 days later behind my couch. So, needless to say, I that was my last experience with snakes. I decided not to become a reptile breeder. So, well, very good. Let's get into some other questions here. I have somebody asking a question. What would be your definition of a good actor? Like, when you see somebody and you think, wow, they're good. Um, That's kind of I know that's kind of a loaded question. That's kind of maybe a hard question to ask, but maybe what are some of the things that
I've spent time in casting as a casting director as well. Here, I'm going to tell everybody here. Today I'm going to give you guys something big. I'm going to tell you the secret of casting. How about that?
perfect. Yeah,
Didn't
I'm ready.
do that when you were coming in today. Here's what the casting director perceives as a good actor, a good performance. Your job as the auditionee is to make us feel comfortable or relaxed, right? Because I don't know if anybody in the room here gets a little nervous when you perform. A little easier to do when we're sending self-tape virtual videos, but if you get the butterflies in your stomach, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But however nervous you are or you come across, that's how you put your presence out there. We're nervous for you. Okay. So if you're nervous, we're nervous for you. And that's okay for you because your audition lasts a couple of minutes and then you get to go home, you get to move on and move on with your life. But the casting director who has to go through a whole day's worth of that nervous tension. It's not very fun. So they're looking for the person who makes them feel relaxed and comfortable. Because if you can make a casting director feel relaxed, you've got their full attention. If you got their full attention, they're putting trust into you. And it's the people they trust. they usually move on to the next processes of the castings. So, what I consider a good actor, one, because I think performance in auditions and performance in production are probably a little different. Um, but I think that the biggest aspect here is just being comfortable and confident. And that comes one through time and experience. So if I can just encourage, if you have the opportunity or the access to, just get out and audition as much as possible. Because auditioning is strange and weird and it takes a little while to get used to. So the more you do it, the easier it gets. The easier it gets, the more confident. The more confident, the more you book. And that's just kind of one of those life lessons. But that's the secret of casting. If you are super nervous, convince me you're not.
Right. And what people don't understand, or a lot of actors, what they end up doing is they tend to get in their own head a little bit. I feel, actors, they go through these different acting programs, or different take different classes, and they learn these special talents and these skill sets, and but then when they audition, they try to think of all these things they have to do to really show that they're a true actor. But what actors, I feel, need to learn, first and foremost, is that an audition is like an interview, right? So you just need to be confident in that one moment, and go in there and just be, like you said, comfortable, confident, and that does take practice to do that, because everybody's going to be nervous, especially on your first audition. I mean, there's no reason. I don't think there's anybody out there who's not nervous especially on their first audition, right?
And it's okay to be nervous. I'm not telling anybody not to be, but
Right.
the more you convince me that this is going to be okay, you're saying, hey, you can trust me. Relax. You can trust me. So if you can do that, you've got the casting director in the palm of your hand. Um, And then also just you mentioned you say what makes a good actor? Somebody who doesn't act. I mean, just generally, if you can convince me that you're not acting, which is one of the biggest things I look for at a scouting event, I'm trying to find the person who's not acting, the person who's just out there doing it. So the more you try to act, the more I know you're acting, the more I see you working at trying to deliver that big performance here. Um, the more I'm not taking away from your performance and how much you put work into it, but just go out there and just do it. Just be you and just be natural.
Yeah, you want them to be natural. That's the one thing, is I notice, like, sometimes when the one thing that really kind of turns me off a little bit is when somebody gets up and they tell me their slate. They introduce themselves, "Hi, I'm Jeremy," and you know, and then all of a sudden they go to act, and it's like they've just become this different person, and they change their voice. Have you ever seen that? Like, where they
Uh,
change.
too many times. Way too many times.
It's like they
But
got into this character, and they all of a sudden became this completely different voice, and that's a little bit of a turnoff for somebody like myself, only because it's like I just heard the real you, and then all of a sudden now I'm hearing this, like, deep voice. Now I'm an actor. And I think, no, that's not exactly what we're looking for. Like you said, you blew my mind when you said, I want to see somebody who doesn't act.
mm, yeah,
You want it to feel natural, really. That's really what it comes down to. Feeling natural, being comfortable in your own skin.
yeah,
Uh,
and
Sasha asked a question, going back to the resume question. She's a model, but she loves horseback riding. Is it beneficial to her to have videos of her riding her horses, for, just if she's only interested in modeling?
yes, I mean because and if I can just encourage you not to exclusively be interested in modeling. I mean, if that one is that your main focus, main passion, that's great, cool, do that. But we're in the business of working, so if I have a commercial shoot that is looking for a model who can also ride a horse,
Right.
even though it's not down a runway, you know. It's in a commercial shoot for whatever clothing brand. As long as you're open to that as well, that's where we would need those specific videos or skill sets to be showcased. So yeah, don't think yourself just as a model, but as just a performer who will most likely be working a lot of modeling gigs, but also open to other stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, why not take an opportunity to get paid to be on a commercial riding a horse, And if you have that skill set as a model, and that I'd encourage all the models to also, explore, some acting as well. And everybody who's watching this feed today who's not currently signed or represented by somebody, I would say, if you haven't done a self tape yet, start practicing now. That's the great thing about today's world, with the self tapes, and you can be anywhere in the world to audition. You don't have to be in person anymore, but you do have to master the art of the self tape. And so, pull a script off of Google, find something a commercial script, type it into Google and download it and practice that self-tape because like Michael said, the more you do, the more you practice, the better you get. So try to be as good as possible, before you're even represented. Why not do that once a week and really improve your skill set so you do feel comfortable when you do have actual audition.
Jeremy, I don't think I can name a single model only talent that we've brought in that hasn't eventually transitioned into some sort of on camera work as well. So
Yeah,
uh, I hear it often, that's what I want to be. I want to be a model. And then some opportunity comes and oh, look at that. It's fun. It's interesting. It also pays some money. So yeah.
yeah.
Um,
A camera is a camera at the end of the day. If you're working with a photographer or if you're working, on set for a commercial, you're still in front of the camera, right? And models, yeah, it's funny that you say that because I talk to models on these sessions. Sometimes I'll talk to models who've been in the business for a long time, and they always transition or always will do other work, and I think about, some of the famous people out there too, right? So like Marilyn Monroe, she started off as a model and ended up performing in movies and very, very successful actress and one of the icons of, old Hollywood at the time. But yeah, she started off as a model, right? So yeah, models, I know you may that think, oh, I don't have any talent as an actress, but your talent is you, and
you might have just not discovered that talent yet. So
right. Yeah, exactly. And again, start working on that self-tape a little bit, practice that, see how it feels, watch it, see what you think and learn some things. And we're not asking you to become like a superstar actress who's starring in the next, lead in a movie next week. Although that would be amazing, but but, we're talking about projects where they do need models, they do ask for models, to be on set, for, different TV shows or TV commercials or that sort of thing. So, yeah. So, yeah.
just off the top of my head, thinking about things that we see at a lot of model castings, um, and like print modeling more so, but we get asked for athletic skill sets. So, when Nike's doing a commercial and they need a model for it, they want to know, is anybody okay running, or is anybody okay doing this exercise? Maybe it's yoga. Um, so maybe it's not horse riding, but we athletic skills are something that you should have some video that you can showcase.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you enjoy working out, you go to the gym or you enjoy, like you said, yoga. I've done a couple of yoga. I if I was on set and somebody asked me to do downward dog pose or something. I have no idea what that is, right? Or or sitting crane or whatever those poses are. So but there are yoga enthusiasts, I'm sure, that are watching that do take classes weekly. That is a skill. The more you do, the better the problem for me with yoga is I get tired. I
Very
get
relaxed.
I get so relaxed. Yeah, like halfway through the class, I'm thinking, man, I could just take a nap right now.
They have to wake you up at the end.
Exactly. Wait, I just paid for this class and I'm sleeping. I could have done that at home. No, I enjoy running. That's my skill. And people think running, nobody enjoys running. But you're right. I don't enjoy running. I enjoy being done with running. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good
Pe-
endorphin boost.
Right, yeah, exactly. Very good. So let me ask you this on the opportunity, if somebody were to be represented or to get a call back from someone like yourself, what does that process look like? So say they submitted some material to you and you happen to like what you see. Michael, what would be the next step?
Uh, we 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 will call you in for a follow-up interview, which also includes a back and forth questions. If you have questions for us, if we have questions for you, I might ask you to showcase something. If you are an on-camera performer or stage performer, I might ask for a monologue or a commercial. Because I'm now bringing others into view as well. So this will be something that is seen by a few other people. Um, and from there, we'll make our determining choices. And if that is something that we feel is going to be a good working relationship, the next steps, and it's a really quick turnaround time because we need you and we need you out working as soon as possible. So our next steps is to get our talent profiles set up so that we can submit you on our online casting database.
Okay. So basically an interview, talking with you and others in your on your team, and then from there you ask, what do you ask them for? If you decide to move forward with them, what do you ask talent to produce for you? Like, what do you need from them right away?
We need headshots or some sort of uh, showcase photo if you're a model, if maybe you have a modeling book. But we do need a photo or photos that we can submit through casting, and then we need your resume, and that might be something we can help you with. We don't offer classes or teaching courses here. We're not a school, but we can recommend places in your area if that's something we have access to. Um, we love talent that's always looking to improve themselves. So even though you're now signed by a manager or now signed by an agency, don't get comfortable or don't get complacent. Always be looking to improve your performance abilities. It's kind of like we talked about working out, right? Performance is kind of like working out. So the more you do it, the stronger you get. And the less you do it, the less sharp you get. So that's something we can help yeah, get people set up for. But for us, the next step process is to get photos and resumes and any content video that you have so that we can essentially set up your casting profile. The faster we get your casting profile, the faster we can get you set out to auditions.
Nice. So put in the casting profile, you need headshots, resumes, and everything, videos like you just said of the different skills that you've done. Now headshots,
The more you bring to the table here, we might not use all of it, but the more it's there and available, the stronger we can set your profile.
perfect. Now headshots, when I ask talent for headshots, I want to make sure that it's actually a professional headshot, something that a photographer has worked with you on, and not just like a selfie photo, like something that you've pulled off your Instagram. Although those are great and those are nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Um, yeah, and the reason being is because you want it to stand out. with casting, they receive thousands of headshots on a submission, and you need to make sure that it does look professional. So
You
those
want
of
to get
you out who don't have headshots, that's something that we encourage you to work on, and we want it to look like you, right?
Oh, 100%. The best compliment you can get on a headshot is this looks just like you. Not, whoa, this is a great photo, but wow, this looks just like you. Because that's who you are. We don't, and again, we don't want you to look any different. These aren't glamour shots.
Yeah.
We don't need over touching here. Because again, if we say, oh, this person looks like this, and you go into the audition and you don't look anything like it, then they come back to us and go, who is that you sent us? So we want your photos to look like you. I think that's one of the top of the four important things for a headshot. Um, and one thing you have to remember is this: there's only one. We only get one chance to submit you to the casting director, right? So the casting, that's how all castings are first filtered through, is through visual likeness. And it doesn't mean they're looking for the most attractive person. They're just looking for the person who fits all of the requirements for the casting breakdown. So that breakdown is going to have characters on it, and those character descriptions. We need to match you to those character descriptions. So having a photo of good quality that showcases you is, I mean, that's that one and only shot. So if it's a less quality photo, if it's blurry, if it cuts off part of your head, then we're really losing the opportunity there. So having a good headshot photo is of the utmost importance.
It's almost like your business card, represents who you are. And then if your look changes, make sure you update your headshots, right? So if I were to get a headshot done tomorrow and then I decided to shave my beard next week, I would need to go get new headshots because I no longer have a
Look
beard.
like you. And it doesn't mean you have to go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars for the best photographer. We just need the photographer who's going to take the best photo of you. So work within your means here. And as long as it covers kind of these four aspects, one, it's got to look like you. Two, we've got to see a full visual outline of all of you in the photo. So if half of your face is shaded, we can't use it. Or if your hair or your shirt blends into the background because the background's too dark and you have dark colored hair, we won't be able to use it. We need eye contact here, so you want to be connected through the camera. So if you're looking off at butterflies flying off in the distance, it's a great photo. It's just not good for a headshot, right? And then we want it to have some sort of interesting aspect. So maybe a unique color or a clothing color that makes you pop, or maybe some texture and background. The kind of business goes through trends, but I don't know what's going to be at that particular moment, but something interesting within the photo.
And you mentioned glamour shots. I don't know if a lot of people online even remember glamour shots. If you remember glamour shots, go ahead and put that in the
Yeah,
chat here. But
okay.
those of us
Yeah,
those of us who are a little older, there used to be a company called Glamour Shots, and they were like in every mall in America in
right. Yeah.
the
Thumbs up
90s.
to anybody who went into a J.C. Penney's and got a glass.
And what they were back in the day, they were like those 80s photos. And I think you can probably go online right now and type in Google glamour shots. and, and there will probably be a lot of great photos you'll enjoy, a good
Yeah.
5-minute laugh there as you look through some of these photos. But I remember they were highly filtered. Remember that they were always like really soft, like, and then of course just tons of makeup and big hair and
I wish, and I'm not going to do it, but I wish I could show everybody here my first headshot. I'll paint the picture.
oh, let's show
Still
it.
in,
Let's
still in
do that.
black. I don't think so. Still in black and white, all denim, head to toe, spike frosted tips, as if I was auditioning for the Backstreet Boys. And I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of shot a picture from the J.C. Penney catalog. So
I love it. All
don't do
denim.
that.
So you were aspiring boy band.
Yeah,
actor.
it didn't work out. Uh, but
Speaking
maybe
of
glamour shot's probably not the right word nowadays. We'll say over filtered, right?
over, right? Yeah.
There's so many apps now that you can oversaturate, overfilter, and you just don't end up looking like you. We want you to be you. It's okay to be you. So
If somebody can quickly do Google searches and see if we can find Michael's first headshots online somewhere, I would appreciate that. We can share that to the world. Speaking of
yeah,
Backstreet Boys, I think they just got a residency in Vegas. I thought I saw that this week. Yeah. So
good for
any of
them.
yeah, any of you Backstreet Boy fans, they have shows you can go to Vegas to watch them perform if that's what you're interested in. So well, Michael, I appreciate you spending time with us here on this weekend.
You guys are
I'm
awesome.
I'm very disappointed in that we don't have your first headshot photo to display. Speaking
Oh,
of black and white, like back in the day when you started, it was probably only black and white, right? Because I know for a while there, black and white was the thing that headshots were taken in.
am I allowed to share screen here?
I don't,
That's something like
good question. Yeah, present, I think is what it is. Do you see that at the bottom? Are you going to show us your headshot?
I will just for you guys. But
We promise not to share to TMZ.
that's that's fair. Maybe this is just one of those it gets better type thing. Okay, present image.
Did that pop up? That's a good question. I don't think I've ever
Keep
shared.
talking. I'm gonna get this up here and
No, yeah, go for it. Because honestly, I don't think I've ever shared on these lives, but I'm excited about it. I hope this works. But yeah,
wow.
so color photos, are the standard today. Black and white. Oh, there it is. Okay, hold on. Here we go. I can add it. I can add it. All right. It just popped up here. You guys ready for this? Nice. Look at that.
Full denim spike process here.
All denim. So
While we're
serious.
like, I know, right?
Why so serious? No smiling?
Because I didn't know. I didn't know any better. It gets better. So sometimes your first go at this isn't the most successful.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
What
Noted
year
that.
was this?
This was 2003.
Okay. Nice. So here you look a lot younger there. I think you should go back to the spiked hair tipped look. I think it's a good look. What do you guys think in the chat? If you guys think Michael should go back to that, uh, you never know. Hey, Backstreet Boys are,
If
back
they
in
can
Vegas,
get it, I can get it too.
right? That's awesome. I love it. So real quickly, I know I don't want to spend the rest of your evening here. I know you're limited on time and we're running out of time here. But if somebody is interested in working with you, what's the best way for them to reach out to you guys? Is there an email or is there a way to contact you guys?
You can contact us through our social media. That's Manikin Agency. Or you could check out our website and you can cold submission there. We hold an open call, depending on the time of year, either weekly or monthly. So if your submission's there and we're interested, we'll invite you to the open call audition, which will most likely lead to a call back from there, and we'll go through the process. But
Okay, well, very good. Well, I appreciate you spending time and
no, this was
picking
awesome.
picking your brain. We got some great homework assignments for those of you out there.
You too,
Work
right?
on homework and start improving, getting better. And then also, if you're on the members lounge, reach out, post your videos on the members lounge and get feedback from others. I'm on those lounges, so feel free to reach out to me, message me. I would love to hear from you guys, and feel free to ask me questions too, and even questions that you want me to bring up to guests that are coming up online. Feel free to reach out and say, hey, Jeremy, can you ask your next guest next week this question or that question. feel free to reach out to me on those lounges. I love working with all of you guys. It's great seeing everybody. Happy weekend, everyone. And Michael, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. You're the best. You're amazing, and this was wonderful. And I hope to see everybody soon. So, submit a photo, a video to us through the website, through our Instagram, and hopefully I see you guys there.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Well, enjoy New York. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. I'll see everybody on Tuesday. All right. So see everyone. I will be there on Tuesday if I'm not on death's bed again. So I do apologize for missing you guys on Tuesday. I really did. It broke my heart that I wasn't able to join you guys. It was not feeling well at all. But I'm glad to be here with you guys today. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. So good seeing everyone again. Thank you for joining me. And I will look forward to seeing you guys in a few days. Happy weekend, everyone.